So now the last question, which is going to be a little bit open. So feel free to argue back and forth on both sides if you'd like. Workforce shortages are increasingly impacting project delivery and overall productivity. During the technology keynote we saw today, Bentley's first example of applying generative AI to next generation applications like OpenSite, as you see on the screen here. Being able to write a few prompts and be able to change part of your design or maybe take care of some of the mundane. So it's kind of like the, I guess the meme that I saw where we have AI. I want AI to do my laundry so I can do art. I don't want AI to do art so I can do my laundry. Yep. How do you envision artificial intelligence shaping the future of your workforces?
I'll give a kind of a similar to what you said about the laundry and the art. It's a both-and solution. People using machines, deploying machines to be more efficient and effective is another machine. Yes, it's fast, but it's another machine. It's an advance in technology, but the two still come together. WSB, we're in partnership with a company called 4M Analytics. They use some AI algorithms to develop underground utility locations, and they have like entire states mapped. So you have access to 2D data very quickly. And then you can marry it up with GIS data, turn it into 3D, you can get into a model quickly. But does that ready, quick access to utility data complete the SUE investigation? Of course it doesn't, right? It just gets you started down the road to identify where your real issues are, so you can, in a targeted way, deploy your people to now go out and solve the problems that they should have been focused on in the first place. Yeah. So it's the ability to aggregate large data sets into the identification of problems. A lot of times I think AI is going to be used not to solve problems, but to identify problems quickly and now get the people targeted on solving those problems. That's sort of how we're using it in that context.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think it's about giving the workforce the tools they need. We've looked very closely following our digital delivery kind of through the development phase, looking at the different types of roles we need moving forward. So we've got a whole new set of digital career paths across 4 streams, including AI, automation, BIM, GIS, and data analytics. So we're looking really what are the skill sets these people need as they come into the organization, and then how do we move them through the right career path. But it's about giving them the right tools, right? So, working with CoPilot in a trial, so how that integrates with O365. I think that's going to be a game changer for a lot of how our project teams work. We've got our own Parsons GPT version that we've been training both in the defense and intelligence side of our business and also on the commercial side. So training engineers how to use those tools, the right prompts to ask it, and the right checks and balances and guardrails as we start to adopt it more. But it really is going to be a game changer. And I think, when you trial an application like CoPilot and then you can't take it away. People just become literally addicted to it, right? And they're running the commercial applications on the side. So I think it's important to give them the right tools with the right, the right training and the right prompting so that we're getting the right answers and we're able to refine those.
I think you touched on a really good point there, because when I was a young engineer, my project manager told me that the person that knew how to look up things was going to be the better engineer. Look it up in a book. And then when I was training my staff, I would tell them the person that knew how to Google is going to be the one that can excel in their jobs and be a better engineer, because they knew how to use the resources. And I think you're right. I think the next generation, or this generation, is going to be the ones that need to learn how to prompt the AI to be able to use those tools to further their designs and further our industry. That's a very good point. Julianne?
So I'm a little bit on the other side of the camp, a little more conservative, and as an owner, I get nervous when I hear about the new technologies, especially because I think, oh no, AI can't replace our engineers. We still need that human element. But really, that's what I've been learning over the last few days. All of these incredible applications for AI and using them as tools. I think that is really the key here, that we know we're never going to be getting rid of the engineers. We have incredible job security with the deterioration and shape of our infrastructure in the U.S. and all over the world. Really that's part of our nature as engineers. We're very risk averse. So, we want to be cautious and we want to train our engineers to use the tools properly, like you said. But I think that, there's never one solution to every problem out there. There's not one software, one analysis capability that's going to be able to do every piece of transportation challenges that we come across. And I think especially what I heard this morning about Bentley going open, and really that's the key here, is that you're not going to have one thing that can solve every problem, but we need to be able to be compatible and have that interoperability, not only between the different software platforms and tools and modules and that sort of thing, but to tie into what Andy said, that I feel like we need to be more collaborative between not just our engineering disciplines, but also the entire life cycle of our project. And that's something that we had a great conversation about. I don't want to just produce these 3D information models and then put it out to the contractors and force them to use it or hope that they're going to use it. We know that the contractors are going to do what is most cost efficient, what is most effective for them in their workflow, because it's in their best interest to build it on time and on budget, or even under budget, and get it done ahead of time. So I really want to have more conversations with every step in the life cycle, from design to construction, and then construction to maintenance and into asset management. And I feel like we really need to do a better job as an industry and be more open with our physical software platforms, as well as our personnel and industry.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I
That's
have a
good.
really important question for Bruce now.
Okay, sure.
Does your Parsons AI and CoPilot always agree with each other?
No, so it's very interesting, and they probably shouldn't, right? Because they're
right.
learning from different models. But I think when you're solutioning for clients and trying to deliver on these big projects with big timelines, and I think it's going to be a combination of commercial off-the-shelf stuff we've developed in-house and experience, right?
Yeah.
So I've actually done some tests and asked CoPilot and Parsons GPT the same question, and actually Parsons GPT gave a little bit better answer, which I was kind of happy. I don't know how it would have known that, but it was a very good answer.
Yeah.
To Julianne's answer, answer before, and we're running out of time, but we can't replace the engineer, and we still have to use good engineering judgment. So we could use it for tools, but we still have to have someone liable for it. We still have to have that licensed engineer to be able to be liable for the work that we do out there. But I think that's all we have for today. So with that, I want to conclude and thank our panel on how digital delivery can be the start of the journey towards using AI-powered digital twins for safer and more efficient operations. Problems caused by aging infrastructure, climate change, and growing and shifting population, and a shrinking workforce that has to deal with all of these challenges. Your awards have inspired us, and just through this week, we have seen what's possible. So we thank you for joining us here in Vancouver, and for those watching online. For more information, please scan the QR code for our virtual press kit. And again, a round of applause. Thank you so much to our panelists.